I'm Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of today's newsletter is going to be dating. Master the progression. I've got actually a pretty short email from a guy, and he's noticed basically when it comes to dating, at least in his opinion, there's two schools of thought. The first school of thought is that he should hold out and wait for a really great girl to come along and only date women that meet his criteria, or he should date multiple women, which will give him a lot more experience to put him in an abundance mentality and basically help better prepare him for when the one or somebody really great comes along. And so we're going to go through these two different schools of thought, which one's more appropriate, as soon as I go through this quote that I wrote in this particular topic. And so the quote says, like Sun Tzu said, every battle is won before it is fought. Succeeding and winning any competition at life, in your career, at business, or in love is determined by what you do and how you prepare ahead of time. Becoming great at anything requires countless practice repetitions to develop and hone your skills. Most people have the desire to win, but few people possess the will, determination, dedication, and discipline to prepare to win. In life, you're either preparing to and expecting to win, or making excuses that guarantee losing. Now keep in mind, I talk about this a lot. People will act consistently with who they view themselves to be, whether that view is accurate or not. Definitely something to think about as we go through this guy's email. So he says, "Hi Corey, I'd like to get your opinion on how to attract a great relationship because I hear two schools of thought." Well, a couple of things before I get into that. And I use these quotes a lot, but they're so important. As a coach, I talk about fundamentals. Because as a coach, you got to teach fundamentals. And like the great Vince Lombardi said, coaching is teaching. So as a coach, you teach fundamentals and you help people tweak and modify their game so they can reach their full potential. So he says, I'd like to get your opinion on how to attract a great relationship because I hear two schools of thought. The first one is wait and hold out for someone who knocks your socks off. Well, you definitely should wait and hold out for somebody who knocks your socks off. But if you're trying to get good at this, if you've never been a good dater, you don't have a lot of experience. I mean, I spent my 20s going out like every fucking weekend, every Friday, every Saturday, and then usually maybe 1 or 2 days during the week there might be a happy hour like a Wednesday or something like that. But I went out a lot, and I was always hanging out with my friends, and I was always talking, was always trying to get better. And sometimes I would meet a girl and she'd be really pretty, but the connection wouldn't really be there. But at the end of the day, the only way you're going to get better at this stuff is to practice it. So you definitely need to hold out for somebody who knocks your socks off. And what I mean by that is don't fucking settle for the first person that comes along, because you're also going to eventually encounter a woman who really digs you. She's really into you, and your attraction to her just may be mediocre. Now, a lot of guys, when they get in that situation, they do what I did, which is they get married, they stay in a relationship, then they start having kids, and they talk themselves into sticking around instead of continuing to circulate, continuing to improve their skills. Because when you have an abundance mentality, when you know you have options, when you know you have choices, you give off the perfect vibe of not being hungry. There's no scarcity. It's like you're putting off a vibe that you don't feel that you lack anything. And of course, people that have lots of choices are perceived to be really highly valuable. When a woman finds or knows that a guy is really desirable and has a lot of women that are after him, she's going to be more into that guy. If she likes a guy and one of her girlfriends turns out to like the same guy, she'll try even harder for that particular dude. So it's never a bad thing as far as guys are concerned when you have lots of women interested in you. But if you got nothing else going on in your life, your personal life, and you're not very good at dating, meaning you're okay with the 5s or the 6s on a scale of 1 to 10, but every time you get around a girl it's an 8 or a 9 or a 10, you come unglued and you screw it up. And that's what I used to do when I was younger. I never got past the second or third date, and that's incredibly frustrating for a man because you're always feeling like the great girls always get away. And it's really just your strategy doesn't work. You're literally, like what I used to do, would talk women out of liking me. And when you don't know what to do, that's incredibly frustrating. So he says, wait and hold out for someone who knocks your socks off, bombshell hot, amazing personality, and ticks all the boxes. Don't date anyone who is below these criteria, and be happy working on yourself and living your life alone. Well, I definitely agree with working on yourself, and obviously you're going to be alone if you're going to be single in that case, but again, repetition's the mother of skill. Excellence is not a singular act, it's a habit. You are what you do repeatedly. I say those all the time. And if you don't practice, you're not going to get any better. And if your skills aren't very good, when an 8 or a 9 or a 10 comes along, more than likely you're going to put that woman on a pedestal and kiss her ass just a little too much. She's going to perceive you as being weak, and that's it. You're going to blow your chances and you'll never get the chance to date her. The whole idea by going through these things is so you get good enough so you can date the kind of people that you want. And you can create the life and lifestyle that you really want. So let's go. So number 2, the second school of thought, he says, is get out there and date multiple women. They don't have to be your ideal, just good enough to spend some time with and maybe hook up. Absolutely. I had a girlfriend that I dated in my early 20s, and she was really cool, but she was really into me. But, my attraction in her was definitely not, I wasn't as into her as she was into me. And how that helped me was that I really didn't have to try that hard. I did everything textbook without really knowing what I did. And she was all over me. And I didn't have, this is like in my early 20s, I was like 21, 22. I didn't have a lot of sexual experiences at the time. But I'll tell you what, she was really fucking good in bed. And she taught me how to be a really good lover. And that's, to me, that's the gift in that kind of situation. I had a lot of experience basically getting steady sex. And you become good at it. You become comfortable. Those kinds of things build your confidence. Now, if I met somebody at the time who was a total 10 that I would have been crazy about, again, I get 1 or 2 dates and never have an experience. But the fact that I was able to meet somebody who was really into me and have a great sexual experience and date for a couple of years, that improved my skills. And it's like every single situation that you have, every person that you date, they help you get better. So he says, by doing this, you will improve your skills with women and give off the vibe of having options. So when the right one does come along, you'll have more chance of hooking up with her. Well, this is exactly what I teach in my book. Maybe you haven't read the book yet, but you definitely need to start reading it 10 to 15 times and take this serious. You have to learn the fundamentals. It's like what I talked about in the quote at the beginning of the video. It's about preparing. Most people want to win. They want to have a great job. They want to create a kick-ass business that makes them millions of dollars. They want to have really great friends. They want to go on like really great vacations. They want to be in great shape. They want to date really spectacular lovers. They want to have really nice cars, really nice houses. But most people are not willing to do what it takes to prepare to win. They're not willing to put in the time that it takes to develop their skills and become really great at something. And their whole life is about settling and living a life that is less than what they're capable of living. So he goes on, he says, I want a girl who's bombshell hot and I'm enthusiastic to see her and be with. Well, those kind of women, they don't come along every day. And if you don't prepare yourself, like I've said in many other videos, when you do meet somebody that, like if you sit around and wait for the ultimate woman to walk in your life and you don't practice, your skills aren't going to get any better, because knowledge is only potential power. You could have my book memorized, but if you've never practiced with it, when it comes time to go for the kiss, you're going to bitch out. But if you're used to kissing women, if you're used to making love, if you're used to seducing women, if you're used to going out on dates, and you're used to practicing the things that I teach over and over, just like the video that I did yesterday, the guy had a really great success story. He's been following me for 2 years. And he's read the book 12 times. And he just now, in the past couple of months, started dating a really awesome woman. And I got a message from him earlier today after I had done the video, and he said they're now actually in an exclusive relationship and everything is great. So it progressed just beyond things going really well those first few weeks. Because by the time I get to the point where I'm actually reading these emails, it's usually been several weeks since I got the email. So it's cool is that he sent an update and said they're in a relationship now. And this is the first time in his life he's dating the kind of woman that knocks his socks off. That's a lot more fun than just dating an average woman or walking around going, damn, the women I like don't like me, and the girls that I'm not that into, they're all over me. That's what my life was like when I was younger, and I didn't know any better. I had to learn all this shit the hard way. But the bottom line is, like with anything, whether it's working out or eating healthy or becoming really valuable in your career or growing a great business, it takes time. There's no shortcut. You have to put the time in. He says, I'm currently doing option 2. I'm dating multiple girls who are okay in my book, but not amazing. The bottom line is you're getting practice. That's the important thing. Because again, you can read the book and watch countless videos, but if you never go out on dates, you're going to be like a fucking deer in a headlight when you finally do go out on a date with somebody that you like. I also act quite different around girls I think are hot. Case in point, 9s and 10s than I do around girls that I date 6s or 7s. So what happens? He gets around the women he really likes. He's extra nice, puts them on a pedestal, kisses their ass, and he gets friend zoned or he gets blown off because he basically acts unworthy. The key is to treat all women the same, because at the end of the day, they want to be treated just like everybody else. I mean, they get bad breath. Sometimes when they go to the bathroom, it really fucking stinks. Sometimes a really beautiful woman, her pussy stinks. Sometimes she has BO. Sometimes she's in a shitty mood. They're just people. It's not like going to the fucking zoo. Oh, wow, look, a woman. I know this is because I think so highly of the hotter ones that I change my behavior and I act less natural. Well, you're not going to be able to land the 10 if you're continually doing this. And if you're not getting any practice, then you meet the 10 and you're going to totally screw it up. Because you can't handle it in essence. It's like kryptonite. It's like the really super hot woman is kryptonite to most guys. It's like, you ever seen a group of dudes, football players, big, muscular in shape guys that are normally fairly alpha, and a really beautiful woman walks into the room or comes into the group, and the guys just fall all over themselves trying to get attention. They can't handle it. And obviously, knowing the things that you're learning from it, you can sit there and you can watch this and you realize who gets it and who doesn't, and you go, damn, I really don't have any competition. So you can be an average dude and be able to be the one that goes home with the girl, even though there was a guy there, much better looking, better shape, more money. But if he doesn't know how to act like a man, she's going to blow him off and focus on you. It's a difference that makes a difference. He says, I care too much about how I come across. Well, you still obviously care what other people think about you. And that's a recipe for failure. It's one of my favorite quotes, Steve McQueen. I live for myself and I answer to nobody. You have to get to a point where you really don't give a damn what other people think about you. Because when you care about what other people think about you, they have power over you. You totally give your power away. He says, I don't know how to get around this, and I find it really frustrating that I don't seem to be able to get the girls I really want. The reason that you're not is you're not practicing, therefore you're not getting better, and the methods you've been employing are not going to work. You have to get to the point where being around beautiful women it's like breathing. It's not a big fucking deal. At this point in your life, because you don't have any experiences with them, they're like celebrities to you. I used to be the same way. I know it's just a state of mind. It's just a mind fuck. It's just what you tell yourself. If you don't think you deserve to have somebody like that, you tend to try too hard when you're around them, and they don't like it. I mean, think about it. I'm sure at some point in your life, maybe when you were growing up or you were in school, there was somebody that was hanging around and they just acted like they didn't deserve to be there. And then you really don't want somebody like that around you who doesn't act like that. He says, I'm hoping you can give me some advice around this. Well, again, repetition is the mother of skill. It's like Aristotle said. Excellence is not a singular act. It's a habit. You are what you do repeatedly. And if you want to land the 10, if you want to get the woman of your dreams, if you want to get the woman of your dreams to fall head over heels in love with you, you have to prepare. It's like Confucius said, success depends upon prior preparation. And without said preparation, there is sure to be failure. I've done countless emails over the years from guys who did not prepare. And that really super awesome woman that knocks his socks off comes along, and because he didn't prepare or he didn't bother to learn the fundamentals, after a month or two or a few weeks or a few dates, he gets rejected. When it started out, he's thinking, I finally met the one. And then you get rejected. It's like those kind of women, that takes you 6 months to a year sometimes to completely get over it and forget about it to the point where it doesn't have an effect on you anymore. But again, all I can do is suggest. It's up to you. You got to participate in your own rescue. You got to do the work. You got to put the time in, and you got to put the repetitions in if you really want to become awesome. Just like I said in the title of the video, master the progression of dating, even if that means you go out with some average women. Because if you don't have experience with a lot of different women, you got to get your experience somewhere, somehow. You don't just read the book and all of a sudden become awesome. You only become proficient at it when you apply it. So if you'd like to get my help personally, the quickest way is to go to my website, click the products tab at the top of your screen, and just follow the instructions for booking whichever option works best for you. And I will talk to you soon.